Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, iRacing fans from around the world, welcome to tonight's KMA Racing's very special event, Slammin' Saturday. I am Scott Kolovic, your announcer for the night. Joining me in the booth is Ronald Klein. How are we doing, Ronald?
Doing very well, Scott. Thanks for having me up here tonight. Looking forward to 100 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway. Most of the fans know everything there is to know about Talladega Superspeedway at this point. We've run it every week, so
And with running it every week, they do know the ins and outs, and not a huge field out here tonight. So we are expecting some very long green flag runs out here tonight. At least that's our hopes. Go on and talk to us about some of the drivers, Ronald, as they finish up qualifying. That'll be joining us out here tonight.
I'm sorry, Scott. Can you repeat that?
Talk to us real quick about some of the drivers that'll be out here tonight.
We got a relatively not large field, not really a small field, kind of just the middle of the run field tonight. A lot of familiar names, some very heavy hitters out here tonight. Rob Haynes is always dangerous here. He's definitely one of the super speedway guys that comes to the front, much like Edward Bray. Got Sean Brown and Donald Stewart. Donald Stewart always very strong. And the rest of the field. I mean, not that there's any true favorites right off the bat, but a lot of strong drivers out here. Looking forward to an exciting race.
As drivers are bringing in their qualifying times, we're going to run over that qualifying field. Out there on the front line is J.R. Johnson with a 53.551 leading us out tonight, side by side with Jay Anderson in the number 18 with the 53.553. Third position belonging to Joel Guy with the 53.573, tied with fourth position Freeman Kelly. Chris Hogue back in position 5. Good start position for RTK's Chris Hogue. Kerry Allen Stewart in position 6th. Richard Dix in position 7. Rob Haynes position 8 out of Canada in the number 68 tonight. Donald Stewart in 9th, and Sean Brown rounding out our top 10. Sitting back in position 11, Nick Reynolds. Position 12 will be John Henderson. Kevin Scott Nelson. Chuck Dix, father of the other Richard Dix fella in the room tonight. Father and son out here tonight. That's pretty exciting. And then that'll be it. So we're looking at about 16 drivers. But we got to remember, Ronald, that not necessarily small fields bringing out small cautions. In fact, it can go the other way.
We have seen that time and time again and time before, and you are absolutely correct. The guys will get a little too aggressive, and doesn't matter if it's, it doesn't matter how many cars are out here. If somebody gets a little bit aggressive, gets a bumper hook, it's really more about how many cars get taken out. So when we have the bigger fields and we have these guys that accidentally, bumper hook or door slam somebody, get a little too aggressive, it usually takes out more of the field. So hopefully tonight guys will know that, as you're saying, we've got a bit of a smaller field than some other nights, but still should be great racing. Hoping to see a green flag all the way through tonight. Really, no reason why we shouldn't at this point.
No reason, not at least up until the second rotation of green flag pit stops. Now, drivers will be looking at a 30 to 33 lap fuel run. Again, it's give and take. You've got to be in that long haul mentality out here on this super speedway. J.R. Johnson leading us off on that front line tonight, side by side with Jay Anderson, getting ready to go racing for 100 laps at Talladega Super Speedway. Boogity, boogity, boogity. My wife hates it when I do that boogity, boogity. So I try to say it all the time. Boogity, boogity.
Not really against the phrase, but I respect not Daryl Waltrip, not Daryl Wallace, sorry, Daryl Waltrip as a race car driver, but I really didn't really enjoy him as an announcer in the booth. Early on, he was a nice change of pace, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad to be seeing that some of the newer guys coming in. So be interesting in NASCAR in the next couple of years.
Always enjoyed seeing when the current drivers came up. A couple of years ago, I was watching Jeff Gordon up there in that booth, and it was really interesting to see the transition they make from driver to announcer. Now, last night I was out there on that track, first time in about 6 weeks. And when you put me up into that interview booth, I was like, well, wait a minute. Is this what I do to the other drivers? And, it is a transition going from cockpit to desk chair, for sure.
It absolutely is, Scott. And as we take the green flag, we see J.R. Johnson pulling out to a slight advantage over the number 18 with Joel Guy giving him a good shove and then not getting right back to him. They're hooked back up now. We'll watch and see if that 18 pulls down on the inside. But it is, as the 18 does pull down, does not actually pull all the way down. Kind of a scary situation to be in there. You don't want to take up 2 lanes there.
No, there's just really no reason why not to even think about crowding with the size of this field. And, this field should be able to run double file, 16 long, up through the first rotation of pit stops along about lap 30.
At least. I mean, if these guys are just patient and stay in line and don't do anything stupid, they can stay in the draft. All 16 cars can pit at the same time, or 8 cars one lap, 8 cars another lap, whatever. Sometimes that does break the field up because of pit road entry penalties and pit road exit penalties, but like you said, at this point there's really no reason to get crazy. We just came off of last night at Charlotte. We had a few more cautions than would have liked to, but I'm not a great qualifier, Scott, but I think you've probably seen it here more recently. Been finishing very well in the races. I take my time and I drive up through the field. I take care of my car, and it's no different than approaching the same way when you come to a super speedway. It doesn't really matter where you start on a super speedway. It actually probably matters less on a super speedway. You could be in last position with 10 laps to go and easily find your way up to the front in those 10 laps.
All it takes is a heavy foot at that right point in time. Now, with the smaller field, though, going to be a lot of different strategies out here to place. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of 3 wide out here tonight until later on in the race. I don't think that middle lane is going to be occupied or populated as often as we would with a 43-car field. I really think drivers are going to be in a very patient mode tonight looking at the rear end of the I do believe that is Richard Hicks showing his support with the U.S. Navy as Donald Stewart with the Boston Red Sox is up there on that outside lane showing his support for Pad. Going to get a plug-in for tomorrow night's Pad race.
I can't wait for that, whether I race in it or not. I'm designing a paint job. I'm putting a ton of work into it, so a little special treat for tomorrow. I'm not going to unveil it early. It'll be unveiled during the race, but I think everybody's going to enjoy the paint job, and hopefully it will be seen by not only by the fans but by the right people. Get some education out there. Get people looking into Pad and understanding what Pad is all about and how important it really is. I mean, Pad itself as an organization is not really important. It's what they do, what they're trying to do, the word they're trying to spread. So, really looking forward to tomorrow night's race.
Well, and I tell you what, I do hope to have you up in the booth. You and I have started getting into some trivia here with our broadcasting, and it's a lot easier when you have two announcers up in that booth, So if you do join me in the booth tonight, I know you'll be bringing out a lot of information about PAD because I will have a second set of eyes. So that would be really awesome, and we could really get a lot of good education out there tomorrow. But nonetheless, check them out at padv.org. People against distracted driving.
We see Donald Stewart starting to pull up on that outside lane. Donald Stewart chose not to qualify, and as I said, it doesn't really matter where you start. There you see him, up towards the front now. That outside lane fell apart just a little bit there. 21 wasn't squared up on the 78 and didn't get quite the push that he wanted, but nonetheless, here they come.
Big shout out there to the fans. We've got Becky Whitmer, Gary Whitmer, Paul Pellizier. Super big shout out there to Paul Pellizier, our local mechanic. Actually has really taught a lot of these guys a lot of things. Now, in fact, I think you might be his number one assistant there. You are now learning how to do the mechanics on these vehicles. What has that been like for you? That learning experience, along with painting. Now we're setting up the vehicles.
Well, like I've told Paul and many of the other guys, I have a dirt track background, and in dirt track racing, really all we care about is roll center and spring rates and corner weights. We don't really care. We'll know what our cross weight is, and it's the same in these cars too. But if we want the car to handle differently, we depending on what kind of dirt track car you're running, there are certain places where you can run what's called a weight jack, which is basically what all the NASCAR cars have. It's the ability to basically, in the race, you'll see them stick the wrench in the back through the back window and crank on it, turning what they call wedge, or putting wedge in or taking wedge out. We have that ability, so to speak, in dirt track racing, if it's allowed to have those weight jacks. But if you don't, then you have to statically set up the car ahead of time, and your cross weight is going to be fixed for the night. Now, you can make minor adjustments to your cross weight by changing the tire stagger, meaning the tire size, or changing the tire pressure itself. And there's a lot of things that go into that. As we go 3 wide, Danny Rudy unfortunately must have lost the draft there, and will probably catch onto the tail end of the lead lap guys here. But going back to what I was saying, so I understood that part of it, cross weights and tire pressures and what to change in those terms. But when you get into the NASCAR style stuff, now you've got basically sway bars and track bars, and on a dirt track car, you don't want the front end to be stiff. You want the front end to be basically independent. If you put a sway bar on the front of a dirt track car, it would lift that front left off the ground. And even if you put a stiff bar on there, it won't allow the rest of the chassis to roll. So in dirt track, we just take that off, and we don't have track bars. So learning that stuff from Paul's been very pleasant, and it's been an eye-opening experience, as you said, because I don't have that basic knowledge for those changes that you can make on these types of cars. And let me tell you, folks, fans who are watching, when you go to set up a car, I mean, there are literally probably if you went with a combination, there's 100 different things that you could do at one given time to change how a car drives, and it could be really good or it could be really bad.
Now, interestingly enough, KMA started out as an entirely fixed league, and that's something that I'm pretty proud of. We are not the same group of racers we were 4 years ago. We used to give everybody the free pass. Everybody gets a lucky dog. We had unlimited backup vehicles, and throughout the years in progression, we've tightened up the rules. We've tightened up down to one reset. The drivers are out there making their own sets. We've got 3 or 4 drivers now out there doing paints, and we've got a great set of fans out there. And I do want to give mention to one very special fan out there, Becky Whitmer, with us every night. And I don't know if you saw this on Facebook or not, but we were recently talking about pad. Becky Whitmer is in the process of hand making a beautiful pad quilt. And I tell you what, that is the impact. I don't know if she's going to gift it or put it on her bed, but nonetheless, she's going to spend hours looking at pad, and when she gets in her vehicle, I can rest assured she will be safe because she will have pad imprinted into her mind. So a big shout out there too. Becky Whitmer. Gary Whitmer went recently to a walk for pad awareness up there in New Jersey. So we are making an impact. Look at all this purple out here, and that will prove how important tomorrow night's pad race is to us.
Couldn't agree more, Scott. I don't have anything else that I can add to that.
Well, I've got one more thing to add for that. I think I'm going to have to ask Becky, once she gets done with that pad quilt, I'd like a KMA TV quilt. What do you think? That would look pretty cool. Black with just that KMA TV logo, dead center, just one big logo. Put that on my bed. I would love it.
Well,
I'll have to ask her.
I'm sure she heard you, so
but
we will see.
But just like quilting, you were talking about the time involved with the mechanics, the time involved with the paint. So, more so, I'm saying this to Gary Sr. out there on that KMA TV chat. There are so many more things out here to keep these drivers entertained other than just driving. And that's a really cool thing about the Brotherhood here at KMA. We're here to help. We have drivers out here that are weaker drivers but better painters. We have guys that cannot paint, and they rely on their Brotherhood to help them with the paint. You've relied on Paul to help educate yourself. I would actually rely on you. You're already teaching me things about the programming part, so that we can alter the broadcasting software, and that's really cool. Really proud to be out here tonight, just about every night broadcasting the KMA Brotherhood.
And I'm just glad to be a part of it all. I consider myself sort of a jack of all trades. I try to be able to do a lot of things that I probably most people wouldn't do. They wouldn't take the time to learn how to paint. But it's all computer based, and like the broadcasting stuff, that's all computer based software. It's just simple coding, so stuff like that. I'm somewhat computer savvy. I'm definitely not as computer savvy as someone like, we talk about people helping each other and doing that. We got one guy, Joel Guy, who is the true epitome of a PC technician. Did it for years as a corporate technician for a major company, and he can go in and find problems that I certainly can't. So like you said, the Brotherhood is strong, and it's really nice to have a group of people who you can rely on if you need to, if you need something. And guys like Paul Pellizier, he is more than happy to help out. May not give you his set because he doesn't want, he's afraid that you're not going to be able to drive it. But if you say, hey, this is what's going on with my car, and I've tried this, I've tried that, he'll gladly say, well, you might want to look at this, or you might that. So it's a great tool, and we got another great thing coming up. I've been speaking with one of our fastest drivers that's involved with KMA. He's going to start doing ride-alongs during practice once he gets his practice laps in. Said that he would gladly ride along and give pointers, to that driver. Hey, this is what I see you're doing. Might be able to do this and be faster. So,
and we're not going to release who that driver is for various reasons, but I got you. I'm hearing you, and I think that is a great idea to what we've been discussing recently. I think that will be a great idea right there. Becky Whitmer out there saying that she's not going to know what she's going to do with that pad quilt. Well, I tell you what, you can send it to this dude sitting back here in Springfield, Illinois. That would be me. I'll take it. I'd love to have that tag group. In fact, speaking of Becky, she sent me a really cute bell last week, as we all know. And you know, I looked at this bell, and it's actually got some engraving on there from Harrisburg City Public Schools, 1971, 2007. And, you know, that is something else that is really cool that I, as the owner and operator of KMA, I've gotten to. You recently sent me a t-shirt and a hat. Becky has sent me a bell. The Blaze Pizza Corporation has sent me t-shirts, sunglasses. I got a little Smoky Mountain Bear from my good friend Snoopy out here, Elise. And again, it is so cool, week to week, year in and year out, the friendships that are formed, and the cool gear that you get from KMA Racing.
I think that's all part of who we are and what's been going on as we're getting a little bit squirrely on the backstretch here, but we stay green. Everybody gets it back in line, no issues. A little stoppage of the breathing there for a second, held my breath, and happened to make it through there with no issues on lap 19 coming to lap 20, knocking on the wood desk here. Caution free so far. The guys do look like they are being very patient. Not a whole lot of lead changes going on. Jay Anderson leads us. Freeman Kelly down on that inside lane. Got the number 56 of Kerry Allen Stewart on the outside. LaShawn Brown pushing him. So hopefully these guys are going to continue to pace the field, pace the track, I guess is a better way to say it, as they are now, and just continue to ride and stay out of trouble.
Freeman Kelly, taking a look at the number 21 of Freeman Kelly. Facebook at FKellyDrone. Now, we get to know our drivers here, and since these drivers are doing such a great time, we're going to actually talk about some of these drivers tonight. Freedom Kelly serves up a lot of information there on Facebook over the Mississippi River, the Ohio River. He's very heavily into drones. It'd be great if he'd get out there and do some drone work above a speedway. That would be really cool. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to do that or not. Three-wide action, it appears, going on back here with, I do believe that is the number 91 down on the inside. 224, Kevin Scott Nelson. 65 of Sean Brown, falling a little bit towards the back of that field. Might just not been very comfortable up there in that hornet's nest. Now, what are your drivers right here? Why don't you give us some information about the number 6 of Chris Hogue in the yellow and black, looking like a yellow jacket out there.
Yeah, we'll call it the yellow and black attack. You like the red and black attack. You like the green and black attack, so we'll call this the yellow and black attack. Chris Hogue, our last edition of RTK Motorsports. Well, I feel a lot of guys want a team. Some guys are too afraid to ask. We put it out there, and Gary Whitmer Jr. actually contacted me and said that he was interested, and we were going to kind of keep it at a 3-car team. And then Chris Hogue pretty much immediately following requested, and figuring that Chris has had so many years in sim racing, I thought that he could bring something to the table, and he could help us and we could help him. And I'm starting to see some of the benefits for Chris, and I'm sure you probably have too in the most recent races. He's been doing a lot better, and hope to see that continue.
Well, and one thing that we rely on Chris very seriously on, every morning, Chris makes sure that he is on iRacing. He is checking the sets for that night's race. There's a lot of updates that go on during the month with iRacing. And last month was a hard month for Chris because iRacing had totally screwed up the build and screwed up the inner workings, and the sets were failing left and right. Then they did an update. So, again, we talked about how every driver, we try to have every driver within KMA Racing have some kind of a need or a responsibility. And Chris Hogue right there, a huge asset, posting up daily on Facebook where we're going to run, what we're going to do. So that is really, really cool thing there for Chris Hogue. And I know he takes a lot of pride in getting that information out to the drivers.
Yes, and in addition to that, we have fans that are always nice enough to let us know what's going on too. So check the ticker if you can, Scott.
Yep.
But yes, Chris has been really stepping up, like you said, posting all the stuff for each race, each morning. I'm excited to see where KMA will be in 6 months, because a lot of the changes that we've made here in KMA recently has really, in my opinion, has really taken effect and made positive changes.
Chuck Dix sitting back in 13th position, but has lost that draft, looking at 46 seconds back. Pretty sure he's going to end up getting lapped. Danny Rudy sitting back 7 laps down. Now, you had mentioned a few laps ago that Danny Rudy must have lost that draft. Danny Rudy must have had some kind of mechanical failure to fall 7 laps back within 23 laps, hooking up with the number 7 of Chuck Dix. But I'm watching the 7 and the 17, and I'm not sure what's going on. But I tell these drivers, race with me, not against me. And the number 7 and the number 17 showing zero cooperation with one another. They need to get it hooked up in a tandem to get going a lot faster, because otherwise they're going to get 8 alive. And they are getting lapped one more time as we speak. That'll put Chuck Dix 1 lap down and put Danny Rudy 2 laps down. Now they're hooked up on that outside lane. Going to get a little bit of speed going on, because 2 is most certainly faster than 1.
Yeah, not sure what exactly happened with Danny Rudy. I'm seeing a lot of difficulty with him right now. It seems like he's really wandering around. He must have some kind of issue with the wheel, because
again he is refusing to push the number 7. He was in a situation right there, Ronald. Now he's in a situation again. We're going to stay with these 2 drivers for a little bit. Chuck Dix is catching on to the rear end of Kerry Allen, I do believe it is. But I don't know what is going on, but they're looking wiggly squiggly.
Yes, I'm watching.
Chuck Dix into the wall. Chuck Dix into the wall.
Oh man,
got no explanation for that.
Those guys are having some serious issues back there, Scott. I'm with you. I don't understand what they were doing, not helping each other, and then I'm not sure. I got both radios going on, and I'm not hearing anything from the scanners on the driver's side.
Fortunately, we do have one of our admin listening to our broadcast, and I'm hoping our admin can pick up on this information, because Chuck Dix definitely just up and hit that wall for no reason. Not sure if going into pit row, we're on Chuck Dix in pit row, thinking he needs to make a serious steering adjustment, Ronald.
Again, I'm with you, Scott. I don't understand exactly what happened. As we got to get ready here for green flag pit stops, we are coming to lap 30. We're gonna have to be. I gotta be. Here we go. I'm hearing number 78 calling. He's pitting 91, number 15, number 56. So get your cameras.
We are on number 78 of Donald Stewart.
18's going to be pitting, so your leader will be pitting this time.
All righty, copy that, Jay.
Almost all of the cars from the front come to pit road. Joel Guy gets it sideways, tags the inside wall. Everybody else gets around him. Joel should be able to get it going. he will lose a little bit of time, but if he's lucky through this pit cycle, through this pit stop, those leaders that stayed out are going to lose a bit of time. Joel might be able to be lucky enough to catch on to them after they pit.
Alrighty, copy that. Very exciting time right there in pit row. That'll put John Henderson and the 224 Kevin Scott Nelson still staying out there right now. Our current race leader, John Henderson, as they do rip around the number 21. So obviously the number 21, Freeman Kelly, kind of got hung out there.
Second group of cars coming in. Only 3 cars coming in at this time. Freeman Kelly, Kevin Scott Nelson and Sean Brown staying out. Only a 2-car, 2-truck.
Number 5 going in, John Henderson going in solo.
There was 3 cars that had pitted. This is really going to break up the field, as right now it looks like J.R. Johnson and the number 18 of Jay Johnson have gotten hooked up. Then Chris Hogue has actually gotten out of pits basically in 3rd position when everything cycles around. And then Rob Haynes and Donald Stewart. So you got those 3 KMA drivers hooked up. Those guys will definitely latch on to the leaders here very shortly.
Danny Rudy making his way into actually out of pit row, but he is 8 laps down. Alrighty, so we're looking at Kevin Scott Nelson now into pit row. Now Kevin Scott Nelson usually driving Michigan truck tonight, looking very sharp out there in the M&M.
Yes, and bring Sean Brown along with them. So like I said, this is really gonna change things up. Unfortunately, Joel Guy out there running by himself right now. Hopefully through this cycle, that issue that he had when he came onto pit road really affected him. Hopefully he will get somebody coming out of pit road and be able to tuck up with them, or I'm afraid Joel will possibly end up a lap down. As the leaders are coming up on the slow traffic of the 21 truck, and they split it. It's almost 3 wide for a second. The 37 actually, I'm sorry, came up on the back of the 31 and didn't know what to do. Stayed down low and stay clean and green momentarily.
Well, we are on lap 31 of 169 to go, 9 lead changes. Going to take a quick look at our running order.
Oh, and we got contact between the 21 and the 6 car, but we stay green.
Alrighty, we are green. Taking a look at that running order out there in front. Sean Brown, Freeman Kelly. Actually, that'll put Chris Hogue out there in front as our numbers do update. Chris Hogue down to 2nd. Jay Anderson in 1st. Donald Stewart 4th. Jared Johnson in 3rd.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm hearing one of the drivers had issues. Kevin Scott Nelson had to pit a second time. And Joel Guy is still out there running by himself, unfortunately. So bad break for Joel Guy. He's going to I saw him bring it down pit road last time. Looks like he is coming back out onto the racetrack now, 1 lap down.
But the thing about it is, Ron, green flag pit stops, they really separate the men from the boys.
It really does, Scott, and be aggressive is not a bad thing, but to be overly aggressive is really a bad thing to do here. I learned my lesson once. I was a little bit over aggressive coming into the pits, trying to make up as much time as I could, and I locked up the brakes. I have since made adjustments to my brakes to where I can't really lock them up, number 1. Number 2, I just brake a little bit earlier. I figure, if you're going to get me that quarter second, I'll get you that quarter second in the draft when I come out. When I come out of pit row, I'll catch the draft, and it ensures that I don't get a penalty. It ensures that I don't slide the sled tires get sideways, like we saw happen with Joel Guy. And I'm not bagging on Joel Guy there. You know, there's a number of things that could have happened there. I don't know the situation of why Joel Guy spun the truck, but yeah, it can happen to the best of them.
You know, he is the admin in the room tonight, so he possibly could have been dealing with an admin situation. Again, the duties that the admins have to do oftentimes will disrupt their track action. We have Jay Anderson, Chris Hogue, J.R. Johnson, Donald Stewart, John Henderson, Rob Haynes, and Sean Brown with a 6.97 second lead off of 8th position. All right, so what we got here, we've got positions 1 through 7 after their first rotation of green flag pit stops. Now, if we go caution-free, under the assumption that nobody gets a penalty, this top 7, they've got an 8, well, we're almost up to 9-second lead out there on Freeman Kelly. Freeman Kelly is by himself. 9th, 10th, and 11th are 17 seconds back. So the drivers there in the back, they're going to have to rely very heavily on some sort of a short pit or something, some kind of pit strategy. And 1 through 7, they need to still cooperate through at least one more pit cycle.
Unfortunately, Scott, there's just really there is no short pit scenario. There is no fuel saving strategy. These guys are pretty much locked in to 2 more pit stops. Don't have a choice. They're going to take the minimum amount of fuel on one of them. The only thing that these guys can do is hope for a caution, because with 7 drivers that far out, these guys are going to continue to fall back. I'm watching Kerry Allen Stewart and Kevin Scott Nelson and Richard Dix,
18 seconds back,
and Danny Rudy and Richard Dix are having a very hard time keeping, that nice, tight, close formation to where you can actually put down some really good lap times. Now, Kevin Scott Nelson is going to push as hard as he can on Kerry Allen Stewart, but going to get warm and he's going to have to back off, and that group of cars does not have the energy that 7-car group does. So they're going to continue to fall back. They have, as I've been watching them, they've dropped from 14 seconds back to, they are now 19 seconds back, actually they just swallowed up Freeman Kelly. So Freeman Kelly now falling behind, see if he can tuck in behind Danny Rudy.
Okay, but again, I don't understand that move right there by Danny Rudy. Now, he was coming along on the inside. Freeman Kelly was up high, but Danny Rudy passed Freeman Kelly on the high side rather than staying in line with the pack that he was with, and thereby basically screwed them both of being able to catch on to that draft. I do not understand the reasoning behind that maneuver, and I'm not picking on Danny Rudy. I just logically, normally the progression is the slower traffic will go up high. If you want to pick up a driver, you'll check up a little bit, get onto their rear end, but to actually be on the inside lane, come up on slower traffic, pass him on the right side, the outside lane. I don't understand it, but right now Freeman and Danny Rudy have gotten together, but they're losing big time out there on the drivers. They need to get up to those drivers and increase their numbers. There is strength in numbers out here at Talladega.
Yes, and Kevin, like I said, Kevin Scott Nelson is going to be pushing as hard as he possibly can for as long as he can, and then he's got to let the truck breathe. There's 3 trucks versus 2 trucks. Reality is, if the 3 trucks of Kerry Allen Stewart, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Richard Dix continue to push hard, Danny Rudy and Freeman Kelly don't really have a chance to catch them. It's simple physics. The 3 trucks are going to be stronger. if you split the air resistance between 3 trucks, if they can keep it together, because I'm actually watching the 3-car pack right now, and the number 15 is ducking inside and outside. So he's actually breaking the draft himself, slowing himself down, causing himself to burn more fuel, and could be helping the 2 cars behind him, whether that's intentional or not.
Nonetheless, that 224 looking very sharp out there. Kevin Scott Nelson, usually representing Michigan, but tonight representing M&M's, checking in with our race leader, Chris Hogue. Hey, big shout out there to Chris Hogue, leading his first lap of the night on lap 41 on that outside lane. Getting a big push from the number 78, but on that inside lane, the number 18 of Jay Anderson. McGuire's. Big shout out there to Jay Anderson and the McGuire's, getting a big shove from Headblade. Headblade and the number 37 J.R. Johnson, taking care of your shaving needs on your head.
I'm continuing to watch this second pack, and they are finally starting to come back together. That is a bad thing, because that means that if the 3 cars of Kerry Allen Stewart, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Richard Dix were not able to basically outrun the 2 trucks of Danny Rudy and Freeman Kelly.
But again, Freeman Kelly, Freeman's having some internet issues right now, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I just saw that too, Scott.
And Freeman Kelly dropping back from the number 17. So we're going to leave Freeman out there on that field. He's in the rear. He's not causing a problem. But we talk about netcode a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, and we do have the cameras focused on the 21. Because I do want our fans, Ronald, to understand the importance of having your stuff tuned in. And all of this in and out, and we're only going to put up with this for a second here, that causes a problem out on the track. Now, if that behavior does continue, we will have to remove him, but we're hoping that Freeman Kelly will settle down.
Yeah, he's definitely glitching in and out quite a bit. Hopefully, like you said, he'll settle down and his issues will go away.
Alrighty, and I just did get a message out there to the number 21 of Freeman Kelly that to see if he can make some appropriate, because oftentimes when a driver is suffering from lag, they'll tell me, well, I don't see myself blinking. And I was like, well, you don't see yourself blinking your eyes, but you know you got to do it once in a while. Double foul with Kevin Scott Nelson, the number 15, number 56, Danny Rudy, the number 17. Again, every time these drivers split apart like this, they're losing time left and right. And right now, they are 22 seconds back off of 7th position of Rob Haynes. And if we're going to bounce up there to the front, Ronald, we see how these 4 or 5 drivers are running here. Now let's take a look at this front pack as Sean Brown trying to cool it. Don't think Sean Brown wanted to go 3 wide right there. Chris Hogue up there in the front. A lot tighter formation of racing with our leaders almost at the halfway point.
Yes, and you know the speeds that I'm seeing right now, I'll bounce through real quick, and the leaders are on the backstretch. They're running in the 193. See if we'll get 194 or not. 198. 198 out of Sean Brown going in to turn 3. So I'm gonna go jump back to the other trucks that we're talking about, and we'll see what kind of speed. Kerry Allen Stewart just now on the backstretch, carrying 187, 188. I'm going to jump up 189. So I saw 190. I saw 190 from Richard Dix going into, and he seemed like the fastest truck going into the turn there. So that's a 10-mile-an-hour difference, Scott.
Well, and we can also look at the last lap time. All right, so we've got Richard Dix with the last lap of a 50.5, Freeman Kelly with a 50.3, Kevin Scott with a 50.5, jumping up in front to J.R. Johnson. J.R. Johnson's at a 49.2, so you're talking a 50.5 compared to a 49.2. Donald Stewart with a 49.2, Sean Brown with a 49.2 or 49.9, but still,
in essence, it's a second a lap that they're going to lose now.
There are power in numbers, and the second pack, they just have not got the numbers. We are on lap 47 of 100. 0 cautions out here tonight, 16 lead changes. Good racing up here in the front with our top 7. Chris Hogue, Jay Anderson, Donald Stewart, J.R. Johnson, Sean Brown, John Henderson, and Rob Haynes.
Really proud of these drivers tonight, Scott. There was a little bit of bumping, a little bit of banging. There was a little bit of contact between two of the trucks, and it did cost Freeman Kelly some time on the track, but did not bring out a caution flag. So really proud of these drivers for settling in and determining that, you know, this is going to be a long haul race. We're just going to go out here and we're gonna race. So hopefully that mentality will continue. Looks like Donald Stewart is going to give a big shove to Chris Hogue. Chris Hogue moving down. Donald obviously probably warming up. Been there. I've kind of stopped doing the super speedway racing. You kind of know that, and I've been there. I don't like being at the front. I don't like being the second guy in line. Takes a lot of getting used to doing it, and right before I quit doing it, I'd gotten more comfortable. But when you're up front, you got to drive a perfect line. The guy behind you has to trust you. He has to know that you're going to run the same line every time. You're not going to drift up in the corner. He's going to be able to stay on your bumper if he needs to. And that's when you're white knuckling it. Until you get comfortable in the car where you're just kind of riding around basically like a Sunday drive. And I don't mean that in terms of you don't really care or whatever. It's just you're that relaxed.
Right.
Until you get to that point, running these super speedways up in the front is a very difficult thing to do. Chris Hogue and I spoke last week because he had run up front, and he was, during the broadcast I said he was probably white knuckling it. Well, guess what? Chris Hogue is white knuckling that steering wheel right now.
Absolutely.
He's burning his arms up. He's tensed up. He does not want to make a mistake, take out the field. He doesn't want to make a mistake and disappoint himself or RTK Motorsports. So it's very difficult unless you're a guy like, probably best guess Edward Bray. Edward Bray probably doesn't get tensed up the way that the rest of probably 85-90% of the drivers do. And when you finally get to that point where you're out there like you're on a Sunday drive, that's when you're actually the smoothest. You don't make stupid mistakes.
Well, and you also got to be having fun. Now, what you're talking to is absolutely right. Again, Thursday, I was out there on that track. First time in 6 weeks that I had actually been behind the wheel of the simulator. And I had some fun, don't get me wrong, but man, after 70 laps, I'm dripping sweat. I was literally just dripping sweat. I was worn out, and I ended up getting a little bit of highway hypnosis. Now, we all know what highway hypnosis is. And right now, looking at this field right now, nobody likes to see the cautions, but everybody's taking that cross-country trip in real life. So, Ronald, we're going to go in-car camera for a few laps and talk to us as we go into Gyrocam about what these drivers deal with in their simulated rigs about the highway hypnosis.
Okay, I'm in Gyrocam with Jay Anderson going into turn 1, and he's focused on that yellow line. He's also focusing on what's going on around him. And after a while, your focus starts to lessen a little bit more. And you need, believe it or not, you need a little bit of action in the race to keep you focused all the time, because if you're not, you don't focus on where you need to turn in, and before you know it, well, boom, up there you go, you'll catch somebody in the door and you've just caused a caution. So that's kind of the highway of hypnosis, in my opinion, is you just slowly start to kind of stop focusing on what's going on around you. You'll make a silly mistake and cost yourself and probably a bunch of other drivers, especially at a super speedway their night.
Well, not only that, but the physical demands on the body. If you're green flag, some drivers drive with the hands at 10 and 2. Some drivers drive them at 12 and 6. Some drivers, like me, my hand is locked at the 12 o'clock position, and I drive one-handed. And I've got my other hand operating the buttons and the keyboard and the admin duties. The right foot is planted square to the ground on a green flag run for 31 laps. And I've actually had a foot fall asleep. I've had a leg fall asleep. After a green flag run, I go into pit row, and it gives me, that 5-6 seconds to release my hand off that wheel. And you don't realize how much your hand hurts until you let go of that wheel.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about with Chris Hogue right now. He was leading, now he's pushing on Donald Stewart, and you don't realize how hard you're gripping the steering wheel and how tense your whole upper body is. You have to remind yourself, you have to tell yourself when you're going down the straightaway, when you get hooked up to that guy's bumper, the front stretch you can't really do it, but down the back stretch you have an opportunity. Let go. Just take a breath. Let your arms kind of fall, so to speak. Let your shoulders fall down. Loosen the grasp on the steering wheel. Get a drink real quick. Do whatever you have to do. Set it down, and then get ready for turn 3 again. And then this is a repeat, lap after lap after lap, until, like you said, where you can come into pit road, and for 12 seconds on a green flag pit stop, taking 4 tires and fuel, for 12 seconds you can completely relax, and then it's right back to it after that.
J.R. Johnson has lost that draft, falling to 1.8 seconds back off of John Henderson, off of our race leader. That'll put him at 1.3 back off of John Henderson. So maybe not down and out, but he needs to be getting up to the rear end of John Henderson. Right now we're looking at the top 6 being in a very tight formation here on lap 56 of 100. Green flag stops coming up within the next 4 to 6 laps.
And if we're not careful here, or if he's not careful here, the number 5 car of John Henderson, now he has swooned back up to the back of the 65, but he was kind of peeking out and kind of doing some weird stuff. He better be careful. With as many trucks as there are out there, if he gets a second, 9/10 to a second back, that's it. You're gone. You lost the draft, and it's over. On a night like tonight, where we're probably going to go caution free, and I'm knocking on that wood right now. I think you might be able to hear it in the background.
Yep.
But we're probably going to go caution free here, and for all of those guys that have lost the draft, that are 29, the guys that are 29 seconds back, the race is over for them unless they get a caution flag, and that's not being mean. That's just me telling you how it is, because there's no way to make up 29 seconds. You physically cannot do it.
But I will tell you this here, that I myself have won a race. Let's go back to Ivan Garcia. One of the races, the ladies' night out, I do believe he was sitting back in 7th position. He was like 14 seconds out, and on the last lap, the leaders made a move, took out the entire front pack, and Ivan Garcia threaded that needle and went from 7th position to winning the race between turn 3. Oh, green flag pit stops. Here we go into pit row.
John Brown decides to stay out once again, but this time
that's going to cost him.
Completely alone.
That's going to cost him. Donald Stewart, Chris Hogue, Jay Anderson, Rob Haynes. Cameras on. All right, Donald Stewart, walk us through pit row action with Donald Stewart.
I'm actually watching the second pack. They're coming in. Donald Stewart taking right side tires.
Only right sides.
Looks like only right side tires, which would make sense. That is a very common theme. Now we'll have to watch and see. Looks like the 56, 17, and the 91 are in. So Sean Brown stayed out. Kevin Scott Nelson stayed out. Freeman Kelly stayed out. And Richard Dix stayed out so far.
Lap
Everyone else has
100.
pitted.
All righty, Sean
J.R.
Brown.
Johnson having some sort of issues. He is... Oh, no, he had fallen. I apologize. He had fallen off.
Sean Brown now into pit row.
Don Brown now into pit road. Kevin Scott Nelson, Freeman Kelly still out.
Well, I tell you what, a song comes to mind right now, and I'm not going to sing it to you. Maybe I will. One is the loneliest number. I ain't going to sing it to you, but
Yes.
out here in Talladega, one is the loneliest
not something
number.
that you want to do. No.
Nope.
So Freeman Kelly can't go another lap. I'm hearing Richard Dix cannot go another lap. I think Kevin Scott Nelson was going to try to make this somehow. He was going to try to make this a 2-stop race, but there's no way that he was able to save enough fuel. So the 224 and the 21 and the number 15 will be pitting this lap, Scott.
Got them locked on those cameras, and in they go. Double foul up there in front. Nice and clean into pit row. Good job, drivers. Going to jump into the gyro cam of Richard Dix, third driver in line. Staying out there to the right side. Good job. Nice working together. You know, pit row could be a very dangerous place. All drivers looking green. Richard passing up that box just a slight hair, taking right sides. Now, a little fact about here with pit row, when they're fueling you up, they're putting right sides or left sides onto that car. Doesn't cost you any time. It is the second set of tires that actually make you lose time in pit row. So when you're going into pit row to get fuel, you may as well get two. It ain't going to take you any longer. Coming out of pit row with Richard Dix.
It looks like Jay Anderson and the number 5 of John Henderson were able to catch back up. There was a 3-car breakaway with Donald Stewart, Chris Hogue, and Rob Haynes there, but Jay Anderson and John Henderson able to catch them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, lap 62 of 100. Well, hey, we've got bills to pay. We're going to get a little bit of that 4x4 camera commercial action and pay tribute to our sponsors, and we'll be back with you in about 60 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. shout out there to our sponsors, Pro Automotive, GW Graphics, Blaze Pizza, and Greg McClendon, Jason Russo, and Gary Whitmer Jr., along with Mike Clenny and Pad. Stay tuned tomorrow night for our monthly Race for Pad, People Against Distracted Driving. All right, Ronald Klein, going to flash up our summary and take a look through our running order. Go on and sum us up here for the first 65 laps.
Oh, we've managed to go caution free. Unfortunately, we lost another car out of lead draft there. We were just as we went to commercial, saw the 6 and the 78 get together. A little bit of bumper hook. The 78 saved it, but he's now 8 seconds back. We're looking at Jay Anderson out there leading. Been leading quite a few of the laps. Looks like 40 so far, or somewhere near there.
41.
Chris Oakes sitting in second place. Rob Haynes sitting there solidly in third, and the number 5 car of John Henderson sitting in fourth. So unfortunately, with pit stop issues, pit road penalties, contact on the racetrack, we've lost 2 cars due to contact on the racetrack. They've lost the draft. And pit road penalties. This is now a 4-car battle.
But you know what? That's okay, because I tell you what, again, it separates the men from the boys. We've got Jay Anderson, Chris Hogue, John Henderson, Rob Haynes, our 4. But we've obviously got the lap traffic of the number 17 of Danny Rudy right now, 9 laps down. But Danny Rudy, not really, I think, going to get up here and tangle with the leaders, because I tell you what, of all the things that can happen out here, when you're 9 laps down, if you wreck the leaders, you don't want to be that fella.
Hey, you don't want to be that fella no matter where you are. Doesn't matter how many laps up or down you are. You don't.
There it is! There it is! There it is!
That was a really, really bad choice there.
All right, we're going to back it up, look at it from chopper mode. That'll be ring out our first caution. All right, so we're looking at the number 6 and the number 5. The number 5 going to the outside lane as the number 18 goes up. Oh, number 5.
The 18 had done this earlier, Scott. Remember, I told you he kind of took 2 lanes, and he took 2 lanes here. Chris Hogue, obviously, no reason why he wouldn't come down. The 5, I'm gonna have to change my angle and see if the 6 moved.
What I am looking at the number 5. His wheels are on that white line, and we're going to progress it forward. And he's coming down. Chris Hogue holding his line. That there was all on the number 5 of John. And I hate to say it, but clear as day. We're going to back it up one more time, look at it from Blimp. But I'm thinking that was on the number 5 of John.
I'm in agreement. No reason to take it 3 wide there, Scott. There's only 4 cars on the lead lap there. That was a really silly mistake there.
But I tell you what, there are a lot of drivers out here that are going to breathe a sigh of relief. Tough break there for Chris Hogue, though, I tell you what. I mean, they were running a great race. You know, he was in a good spot up there.
Well, the good news is, Scott, I see him rolling, so he has not lost anything. He's going to be able to go in, get a quick repair. I'm with him now.
Oh, this is going to be a game changer because we're going to be within that pit window.
Not only that, but we also have all those cars that were behind. So they're all back. They're all, we're going to have an 11-car field now instead of a 4-car field. So,
wow. Game changer.
I will be right back, Scott. I got to
copy that.
Take care of something.
I'll do a driver interview while you're gone.
Copy that.
How about it, Kevin Scott Nelson? How you doing?
What's up? How did that happen?
I know, right? What a game changer. All righty. We unfortunately did see one driver come down into another driver. I don't know. There are a lot of drivers out here that are like, yay, caution, baby, I'm back in it. And there's a few drivers that are like, oh, damn it.
Pissed.
So how do you feel about this one and only caution?
I just mentioned I was hoping a piece of debris was on the track and they could throw a competition caution for us.
So you're in tune with this caution.
Yeah, we were 20 seconds back. We wouldn't have caught the pack. We never had any solid 4 people getting together.
Now
I was kind of thinking we weren't ever going to catch it.
Now this is a complete game changer because everybody's going to be full of fuel.
Yep. Now maybe I'm saving a little just to make sure, but I'm good.
Alrighty. Do you think the whole attitude's gonna change now?
Oh yeah, now everybody's back together. I think it might be everybody fighting for it now.
Alrighty, you're doing a great job. Big shout out there to the M&Ms. I assume they're from Michigan though.
Yeah, I still got the Michigan car. I'll just bring it out as soon as we get to football season. I thought I'd try something different.
All right, looking good. Good job here tonight, Kevin.
Thanks, man. Good talking.
One more driver interview. Chris Hogue, how are you doing?
I was doing real good, Scott. I'm having a fun night here. I got caught up in a little incident, but I'm doing just fine tonight, sir.
Oh, I tell you what, unfortunately on that one there, Chris, you were a victim. We did review that. You were holding a very steady line. You are a victim. You do got a little bit of left side damage scraping up that pretty yellow RTK. Don't think it's going to affect your draft. But we were, Paul was actually talking out there on the chat. Chris is running a heck of a race tonight. Talk to me about your race. You're kind of kicking some ass tonight.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to just kind of just sit back, relax, and just kind of let things fall where they may. Everybody's been kind of holding their line, and a lot of give and take tonight, and I'm just out here doing my thing.
Alrighty, and I can tell you're focused, and I hear that little baby there in the background rooting you on, and I tell you what, I'm right there with you. You're doing a hell of a job. Big shout out there. We appreciate the purple rims showing your support for Nikki Clenny in our upcoming Race for a Pad tomorrow. Anybody you want to give a big shout out to?
Well, I want to give a big shout out to Ron Klein and RTK Motorsports for allowing me to be a member of his team. And a big shout out to KMA Racing and KMA TV.
Alrighty, I'm going to give a big shout out to you because I tell you what, you are kicking some butt out here tonight. Good job, Chris Hogue.
Thank you, sir. I'm hoping for a good finish tonight now.
All right, looking good. But I tell you what, folks, this is going to be a game changer indeed. Time for one more quick interview as Joel Guy making his way down pit row. Don't like to bother the guys when they're in pit row. J.R. Johnson out there. JR, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All righty, real quick, talk to us about how you feel about this late one caution coming out. Possibly gave you a good run right there for this caution.
Yeah, I caught some damage earlier in the race, and once I lost the draft, it just slowed me backwards, so I was kind of hoping for a caution. We'll see what we can do.
Alrighty, now I'm going to assume you're good on fuel, and right now you're sitting in 8th place, so the fuel window's gone. You're good on fuel. Is it go time with this restart coming to 72, or are you just going to hang out, take it easy, wait till lap 99 and pass them on the last lap?
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know. You know, just have to see how it plays out. I think I'm going to hang back a little bit and see what happens. I'm not going to push it too hard, man. It's been a really good race. Everyone's been driving really clean, really smart for the most part. So I think we can exercise a little bit more patience.
Alrighty, and talk to us about your sponsors, your wife, your mom, anybody's watching.
Just want to thank the KMA, all the sponsors that help sponsor KMA, and that's it.
Alrighty, you're doing a great job. Good luck to you there. J.R. Johnson, number 37, Headblade. Alrighty, Ronald Klein as a number 5. heads off into pit row. Several drivers into pit row making sure they are going to be fueled up, including Chris Hogue. Wow, man, I don't know if I hated that caution coming out or if I was glad for it.
I hated it for Chris because Chris was running up front. He was running very, very well. I'm actually watching the number 6 right now. I don't know if he doesn't have a quick repair left, if he used it earlier or what, but it's going to be a very unfortunate night for Chris Hogue. I'm watching him come out of the pits. His truck has not been repaired. I don't usually do or say much about RTK Motorsports in these races, but with Chris Hogue being up front running as well as he was tonight, I was really, really looking forward to seeing him finish really well. And there must have been some issue because he didn't get the truck repaired. So really unfortunate for Chris. I really didn't want to see that caution come out.
Well, cautions do breed cautions, and, we're going to be restarting up here. Going to be taking laps 72, 28 laps to go. Nothing but a Sunday drive. We're looking at this being over, caution-free, in about 27 minutes. Do you think the caution breeds caution rule is going to come out? Do you think... All right, my prediction, I am predicting one more caution, and I predict it'll be within the first 5 laps of this restart. I'm going to throw that out there because it's go time. 30 laps are not to go. It is go time.
I don't think we're going to see another caution.
All right, you and I not seeing eye to eye on that one there. I hope we don't see another caution, but I have seen it again, and I know these drivers. I think somebody's going to get a little excited here on this restart. Here we go. Walk us through it.
The 224 off and away. The number 18 off and away. This really means nothing right now. I got to wait till the backstretch to see who goes where, who does what. We've been talking so much tonight, Scott. I forgot to throw out the pick your driver, so I'm going to give you guys until lap 86. You got 12 laps to throw out who you think is going to win this race, and got a little something for you.
Whoa, easy as Jay Anderson comes down across the front end, almost taking out the M&M. That was tight. Tire in the hair. That was tight,
and that is going to change the complexity very quickly. The 224 has right front damage. The number 37 has left front damage, and both of those trucks are slower. You see that outside lane really slowing down because J.R. Johnson is slower, and the number 17 is not really going to want to push on him. So the outside lane is going to basically fade until J.R. Johnson gets past. Everybody leaves him, or until somebody did pull up. Now he has a shot. Now he has a shot because he'll have an aero advantage.
21 and 15 getting very anxious. That is Richard Dix and Freeman Kelly. I don't know. I'm a little scared here. Going to be 3 wide up there in the front. 3 wide in the front.
The 18 continues to make these moves where he puts himself in the middle, trying to block a lane, and leaves the door open for a 3 wide situation. This is not looking good as we go into this corner. These guys get
contact. I told you, brother. Oh, yeah. Big crash on the 15. Oh, my God. Look at that camera action. Barrel rolling across that field. 15. Wow.
Oh, no, and the 18 and the 224 getting into it well after.
All righty. Well, I win that one there, but let's take a look at that. 15 up. 4 wide almost with 21. And the 21 clipping, yes, no, maybe so, no, sir. There it is right there as the number 15 U.S. Navy. Let's see. Yeah, I think the 15, not seeing no contact with 21.
No, the 15 got wiggly squiggly.
15 wiggly squiggly.
you get 3 wide, you get really tensed up, you get really nervous, you tend to overdrive the truck. That's exactly what happened. He needed to turn, but he didn't need to turn the way that he did, and then he overcorrected, and unfortunately that's going to take some people out of the race. Jay Anderson and Danny Ruder have just taken it to the hauler. I'm going to go live and check pit lane.
But I tell you what, you got to give props to that 15 taking him. But I'm going to try to count this. We're up in the blimp roll, and let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. He must have rolled it 15 times, brother. Wow. Second
That's
caution.
crazy.
Alrighty, and I was right. Cautions breed cautions, and wow, that's going to be a tough one to swallow on that track. Tough break there for several drivers. Let's get back up into live mode, and that'll put J.R. Johnson in pit lane. Freeman Kelly behind the pace car. I do believe position 2, going to take position 1. Donald Stewart still alive in position 2. Your driver, Chris Hogue, in position 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, my driver in position 3, I just had some radio communication with him. That's why I shut down my radio in the broadcast momentarily. I asked him if he still had a repair left. He does not. So, unfortunately, Chris Hogue is going to have to deal with the truck being the way that it is. Donald Stewart's got a little bit of rear end damage there. I'm wondering if he knows he's got it and if he's got a repair left or not. I'm going to...
Well, let's bring him down here and ask him. How about that?
Alrighty.
All right, I'll let you talk to him. How you doing, Don?
Good, sir. How are you?
All right.
Good. I'm actually just kind of walking around. I saw you got involved with with Chris Hogue a little bit earlier. Looked like he bumper hooked you just a little bit. What an amazing save on your part. Great job saving it. Lucky caution came out. Going to give you an opportunity to come back and race. But are you already in your backup car?
Actually, no. I still have my backup car.
Oh wow. We're walking around, and I was surprised that if you had a backup car, that you would not have used it by now. So that's good information for the fans. So you are still in your primary, but looking like you got quite a bit of damage out there.
I do. I have some.
Yeah, you got front damage and left and rear damage.
Careful. I'll go fix that right now.
Oh well, I didn't mean to make it like that, but I was just trying to check and see if you had your backup truck left or not. I'm glad that you do, because you have quite a bit of damage, and we were looking at the number 6. Unfortunately, he's got a lot of damage as well. A lot of trucks suffering a lot of damage. Looks like a lot of cars out here have already used their fast repairs in previous incidents. So limited amount of trucks left. What do you think? You got a shot with 80 by the time we go green? 81, 82, so 18, 19 laps left.
Oh yeah. If you're on the lead lap, you got a shot to win this. I was just trying to work with Chris all night, just trying to help him out there, and he's doing an excellent job. And he lost his fast repair because he forgot to uncheck it coming out of the pits. So unfortunately, he's got damage, so he won't be able to keep up with us. But he was doing an awesome job up there in the front. I just really enjoyed working with him.
Well, I do appreciate that as a teammate of Chris's, because I've spoke with Chris last week actually, and we talked. I said in the broadcast, I said, Chris Hogue is probably white knuckling it right now. He's not used to being up front. When you're either in first or second position, you tend to grab that steering wheel a little bit tighter. You tend to tense up a little bit until you get to a point where you're so comfortable in the race car that it doesn't really have any effect on you. So I'll ask you that question. Do you still get that way, or have you raced the super speedways enough to where you're nice and relaxed now when you're going through the corners and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm pretty much relaxed. I'm past that stage that I know he's going through. I do get that way, like if it's a high profile event, and it's a lot on the line. But just coming out here on Saturday nights and having some fun with these guys, I just stay calm and try to help them out.
That's great information, actually, because I talked about how it affected me, and I talked about it in the broadcast that it was probably happening to Chris, and he did confirm after he watched the broadcast. He said, "You were 100% correct. I was just so tensed up," and I said, you have to just keep putting. It's uncomfortable, but you have to keep putting yourself in that position. You have to get behind that first place guy, and you gotta get on his bumper. You gotta get up front. You gotta control your line, and we saw him doing it a lot tonight. So I appreciate you working with him, and I'm sure you agree. The more that he does it, the more comfortable he'll be. Eventually, like you said, he'll get to a point where he can just ride around the track comfortably.
Yep, he'll get there. We'll keep working with him.
Well, I appreciate it, and best of luck to you in the remaining laps of the race. Hope you got a teammate out there you can work with and try to bring home a win.
Thank you, dear bud, and all these guys are teammates tonight.
Alrighty, good stuff, Donald Stewart. Alrighty, so we're back up here looking at Freeman Kelly, Sean Brown, Kerry Allen Stewart, John Henderson, Donald Stewart, Kevin Scott Nelson, Chris Hogue in pit row, Joel Guy, J.R. Johnson. Now, Joel and J.R. both a lap down. So we're looking at 6 lead lap drivers?
We have 6 lead lap drivers, but we have cars that are a lap down, like Joel Guy, who looks to have a clean truck. As I'm looking at the number 37 right now, I know we're going to go to green, but I'm looking at the 37. The 37 must have had to tow and then got repaired because he is clean and good to go. The number 91 is clean and good to go as well. So even though those two drivers a lap down, if we do get another caution, one of them possibly get a lap back. If we look at Kevin Scott Nelson, Joel Guy having issues. Looks like he may have blown up.
Joel Guy smoking as he going into pit row, back up on Donald Stewart and Kevin Scott Nelson. Donald Stewart, 5-truck breakaway here with our front. Now, you had asked about our picks. Gary Whitmer immediately typing up his pick for the night, number 78. Now, I didn't tell you this, Ronald. Last night, Gary Whitmer Sr. winning. We didn't have anything on the pole or up there on the podium there, but Gary Whitmer Sr. predicting that Abe Bowden, the number 74 Skittlemobile, would win it. He locked that in by lap 65, and Gary Whitmer Sr. last night's pick your winner. So I don't know, can he go for 2 in a row?
Well, that's 2 for the Whitmer family then, because Becky picked one once already, and if Gary got one last night, that's 2 from the Whitmer family.
Nice.
So be expecting to see some more competition, so to speak, on these driver shout-outs and who they think they're gonna.
65.
65 gets turned, gets the 224.
That'll bring out that caution.
Well, I guess you were right, Scott. Cautions breed cautions. Now, I'm going to rewind it here on my end. I know you're going to rewind it there on your end.
Looking at the number 5, just getting into the rear end of the number 65. Now, I'm going to call that a racing incident. The 65, he went down just a shade. I don't think, though, he intended to change lanes, but he did drop below that lane line, and the 5 just hooked him. And when the 5 hooked him, he took out the 224, Kevin Scott Nelson. Heartbreaker for Kevin.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like the 65 was going to change lanes, and then maybe thought, maybe I'll stay with the 5, and didn't complete the lane change. Unfortunately, though, you gotta know that if you're not square, this is what's going to happen.
I tell you what, we were talking about driver fatigue, and I tell you what, we had a great race up until Well, when was that first caution? Lap, was it 72 or so?
It was right around 69, I believe, because of that you said that put us right in the pit or right in the window. So
And we've
as
had
just
just,
as I look
what,
down,
three back-to-backs or two back-to-backs.
yep. So J.R. Johnson should be getting his lap back unless he had contact during that caution.
All right, Joel Guy sitting in pit row. Let's go on and get a talk in with Joel Guy and see what his summary of the race is. How about it, Joel Guy? You got a copy?
I got a copy on you, Scott.
Well, Joel, we started out great, and then we kind of went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, I've had a rough night. Shifter broke on my rig, and I've been using paddle shifters. I missed a shift going on pit road. I hit first instead of second, and that made me spin out. And that put me laps down. And then this time I missed a shift going to third and went to first and blowed the motor, so I'm done.
So you are down and out for the night.
Yeah, I'm down and out for the night, but it's been up until the last part of the race. It was a great race because it was all green flag racing. Everybody was doing a real good job. It seems like that now that it's getting almost close to go time, they're getting a little antsy and pulling some aggressive moves.
All righty, now we did have cameras on you there in pit row. Actually saw your pit row gentlemen in the pad uniform, and you're all decked out with the purple numbers. Talk to us real quick about tomorrow night's pad race.
Well, tomorrow night we have our monthly pad race. It's People Against Distracted Driving, and we are sponsored by Mike Collini, whose daughter, Nikki Collini, got killed from a person texting while she was driving. And so we are very concerned about that, and we don't want people texting or playing with a radio or anything while they're driving. They need to just be driving, just like we do when we're on the track. If we get distracted, you can see what happens.
All righty. Now one more question. We're looking at Freeman Kelly, Kerry Allen Stewart, Donald Stewart, J.R. Johnson, top four. Not sure if Kevin's going to get that lap back or not, but we're looking at 4 to 5 drivers on a 17, 16 lap shootout. We talk about go time. Great first half of the race. Went to hell in a handbasket. With these numbers of cars, Joel, is it go time yet?
With that few of cars, I wouldn't say it's go time at 16 laps. You could wait until 8 or 5 laps to go and before you actually went go time, as long as you kept up with the lead pack.
I'll add a little. I'm going to add a little
Stewart
information here for you,
and,
Joel.
Donald Stewart's going to push together.
I'm going to add a little bit of information for you here, and this is very unfortunate, but we only have 6 cars left on the track. From 6 on back have taken it to the hauler, so there are 6 cars remaining. Chris Hogue and Kevin Scott Nelson both have damage. That leaves literally the front 4, the 4 that are on the lead lap.
All right, if you've got 4 on the lead lap, if I was one of those 4, I would be very, very careful, and I would just stay in line until about the last 5 to 4 laps, and then I'd kick it up into high gear and go.
All righty, good information out there for Joel Guy. All right, I'm going to move you back up there with the guys just in case you got to do any admin duties. But thank you for your time, and thank you for doing what you do, Joel Guy.
Thank you, Scott, and have a good time up in the booth.
All righty, now the good news is, Ronald, we have a picker out there, Gary Whitmer Sr., picking the number 78. Now, with what you said, he has got a 1 in 5,
1
in 4 chance.
All right, so now this is now between you and me, who's your pick?
All right, Freeman Kelly, Kerry Allen, Donald Stewart, J.R. Johnson. You know, at this point, I don't want to be up there on that front line because you're a sitting duck. Because when you're up there on the front, like Freeman or Kerry, your life is in the hands. And again, we talk about the fox chasing the rabbit. But in a situation like this, the fox is like, the heck with that dinner. I'm going to eat that dinner, and I'm going to get past that dinner. I'm going to spit them up, eat them, chew them up, spit them out. I would go for Donald Stewart or J.R. Okay, I got to pick one.
But my question,
Donald Stewart. I'm going to go with Donald.
Okay, so do you think J.R. Johnson can get around the two cars in front of him that are slower and stay with the front three?
I think that J.R. Johnson has about an equally chance as Donald Stewart, but I think Donald Stewart, just being down on that inside lane, I think he's going to be more in charge than what he thinks. I'm going with Donald Stewart.
He would be the logical choice for me as well, but for some reason I'm going to go with the 56 tonight.
So you're going with Kerry Allen Stewart, and me and Gary Sr. are going with Donald. Alrighty. It was actually Becky. I think Becky's out there using Gary Whitmer's. Anyway, talk us through this restart. Here we go.
Alrighty. Pace car is in, waiting on the flag or for the driver to go. Looks like he's waiting for the flag. Flag comes out, we're off. Freeman Kelly takes off. 56 going. The number 6 trying to stay as close as he can to the 56. 56 pulling down to that inside lane. Now this will be somewhat interesting because the top 3 are all in line. Kerry Allen Stewart wondering whether to pull out or not. He pulls out.
But he's not going to have the help, I don't think. Oh, well, he does.
21 possibly damaged, I just heard over the radio. So the 56 freight training by, pulling down. That would, in my book, not a very smart. Well,
hang on to her. Wow, near
still
disaster.
Good. Still good. Whew. Close, but we're still good.
Hold on to my hat right there. I tell you what. All right, Donald Stewart
faster than I thought he would be. I did not think that he would be able to stay with it, but
right,
J.R. Johnson's got time, but he needs help. Needs help to get by the 21.
Big shout out there to Lee Staples, rooting on Stewie.
Okay. Well, you want to bring a bit of a comedy into the room?
I do.
All right, here we go. Travis Browder, this is Ron Klein and Scott up here in the booth. You there, buddy?
How about it, Tebow? You got a copy?
Oh, hey guys. Sorry, man.
That's all right. Ron wanted to talk to you, Travis.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing well. We're watching the last few laps here of the 100-lap race here at Talladega tonight, and with just 11 laps to go, we're chatting it up and trying to figure out who might pull off the victory. And saw you down there, figured we'd drag you up here.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the race room, actually. I've been watching. So we got, 11 to go. So let's see what happens. Let's see.
So you're able to see. Then you can help. You can help with some of the commentary. Then
absolutely. Why not?
All right. So Travis, give us a race summary here. We were good to go up till lap 69, caution free, and then we went to hell in a handbasket. What happened to us?
Well, it's a really pretty good race so far. You know, because like early stages in the race, everybody just tries to be patient, and then the closer you get to the end of the race, the more intense it's going to get.
So have you got a favorite driver you're going to pick out here tonight?
I'm going to pull for Donald Stewart as well.
Everybody's pulling for Donald Stewart.
and I think it's a smart choice. I really do. But I got to go with somebody different. You know, I got to be the odd man out. I would have liked to gone with J.R. Johnson. I think he could have gotten it done if he would have been able to get around, but I knew him being behind those slower cars was going to have an effect on him. Now he's the last truck in line. He has no pusher. He may be able to make a swing around the 21 if he lays back just a little bit. He may be able to swing around the 21. The 21 looks like he has a little bit of damage, and I don't know if he, but I'm afraid if he does that he's going to lose the front two.
Oh yeah, if you got a damaged truck or whatever, you got to have somebody behind you. And there goes the 21 on the outside.
Now he's got damage, and this is a smarter move.
JR Johnson.
It was a smarter move for JR to not go with him, knowing that he had damage.
Oh, absolutely. He's looking inside of the 21, and there he goes. He's going to get some help with Donald Stewart. We'll see what happens with 9 to go this time.
All right, but Travis, now
Yes, Scott.
let's look at our drivers here. We've got Kerry Allen, Donald Stewart, J.R. Johnson, Freeman Kelly. Now let's talk teams. Donald Stewart is True Blue KMA, J.R. Johnson True Blue KMA, Kerry Allen Stewart, a newer driver, Freeman Kelly, been with us a long time, but don't talk a whole lot. How much is this teammate? Is it about who you know? Who do you love with 9 to go? I'm still staying with Donald Stewart.
Right now, Donald Stewart is in the best position. I'm not going to change my race pick, but right now, Donald Stewart is in the best position. It's going to come down to, and I think Travis will say this too, it's whoever the 37 goes with, that's who's going to win the race.
That is exactly what I'm thinking. The same thing right there. I think J.R. Johnson is going to push Donald Stewart to the win since they're both teammates.
I'm thinking the number 56 ought to be starting to quack, 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 because I'm thinking the number 56 is a sitting duck.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're the leader of the race, you just got to hang on, but you got to be at least be running second or third to get some big runs in the draft. As you can see, the 21, he's losing them guys just a little bit, so it's paying off.
But is there, and I already know the answer to this, but is there a way to prevent this from happening, Travis? Can the 56 win the race?
That is a tough question to say. It depends on what Donald Stewart and J.R. Johnson want to do, because I think they're going to wait till the white flag and try to make their move. Is what I'm feeling.
Okay, so being in the number 56, let's assume just for a second that I'm in the 56.
Yes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch that mirror, and I'm going to make sure that 78 is as close to my bumper as possible. If I see him drop back at all, I simply lift or drag my brake so they don't get that huge run. And I'm gonna pull a block. I mean, when it comes down to that last lap, if he's right there with me and I see him move, all I've got to do is move with him.
Oh, absolutely, Ronald.
So my question, is it possible that the 56 could do that and pull off the win?
Well, all he has to do, he had, as long as he a mirror drives, means he's got to put the block as he can to try to hang on for a race win. Everybody's going to give everything they got here as we get to 6 laps to go here. I think Donald Stewart is probably going to wait till turn 2 or turn 4 to make his move, is what I'm thinking.
I think you're right.
Alrighty, but now it's changed again because Freeman Kelly now 1.5 back. So we're talking Kerry Allen, Donald Stewart, J.R. Johnson. Now there is a slim possibility that Donald Stewart, on that last lap, he will choose to go around. That if Donald Stewart goes around Kerry, and Donald is like, go with me, J.R., but what if J.R. does not go with Donald Stewart when he goes to that outside lane, and he opts to go with Kerry Allen Stewart? Either way it goes, I think J.R. Johnson has got a solid second, but...
No, I think he's third no matter what.
Okay, so you don't think if he goes with Kerry, he'll get past Donald Stewart?
If they do it early, like Travis said, if they do it early, then J.R. Johnson has a chance actually at the win.
So the only thing we've agreed on so far is we think it's going to be Donald Stewart for the win and either Kerry or JR for second place.
Okay, here are the scenarios that I see. The 56, this is how he wins. He watches his mirrors, drives, and blocks. Wins the race that way. The 78 wins the race if he pulls to the outside on turn 4, and the 56 cannot block him. If he chooses to do it in 2, the 37 can go with the 78, get around the 56, and then make a slingshot move in turn 4 and try to make it a drag race.
Kerry Allen Stewart, Donald Stewart, J.R. Johnson. I want to give a big shout out there too. Lee Staples on that KMA TV chat. I am still staying with my pick of Donald Stewart. 96 up, 140 go, 33 lead changes, 3 cautions in 10 laps. Held to a handbasket. Once we hit lap 70, should go caution free here on out.
3 laps to go this time by, still single file. So this is gonna get exciting as we get to the final laps here.
Big shout out there to Lee Staples on that KMA broadcasting chat. Lee Staples, tell us who you think's got tonight. Alrighty, Travis. Give us go on and walk us through a lap around here, around this 2.66 mile speedway.
We are at Talladega Super Speedway. As we go as we're in turn 3, this track is flat out every single lap, and it's like if you're a single truck, if you're leading the thing, it's wide open. But if you're pushing somebody, it'll actually can get you more momentum and get you a little bit faster with the push. And it's like if you're in traffic, let's say like you're going like 2x2x2, you just got to be patient and lift a couple times because a couple guys are getting hot on their motors to keep their motors cool. And it's a very, very, very big track. Talladega's a fun track to race at for sure.
Kerry Allen Stewart, Donald Stewart, no relation. J.R. Johnson, positions 1, 2, and 3, lap 98. All right, Ron. So when do you start making your move if you're the big DS?
I don't make my move till basically the start of the move is turn 3. I back off just slightly, just ever so slightly that he doesn't even notice it in his mirror. And
that's
then
exactly what I did last week.
37 to my bumper, and I put it down.
White flag.
And I wait for the 37 to get to me. Whether he goes with me or not, I wait till the very last second, make a sudden jerk to the right, almost clipping the bumper of the 56, and try to slingshot around him.
Donald Stewart continues to push Kerry Stewart and J.R. Johnson working with Donald Stewart. I think they're waiting till turn 4. Let's see what happens as they head into 3.
Here's the back off by Donald Stewart, but he didn't back off a lot.
He's looking, he's peeking, he's peeking.
He's looking.
He's questioning whether JR is going to go with him or not. Nope, he's not going to make the move.
Is he going to wait?
He's going to push him to the win.
J.R. Johnson get inside of Donald Stewart. J.R. Johnson get everything he's got. Kerry Stewart wins at Talladega Super Speedway.
So we've got Kerry,
Allen Stewart,
Kerry, Donald, and JR. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Donald didn't make the move. Didn't go for it.
All right, but J.R. Johnson, we're looking at J.R. Johnson in 3rd position.
Yep.
All right, let's get these drivers down here for post-race interviews. How about it, J.R. Johnson? You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Travis wants to talk to you.
Hey, J.R. Johnson. How you doing, man? How was your race?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Tell us about those last couple laps there.
J.R.
J.R., you here?
J.R. Johnson, you got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, talk to us about those last couple laps.
Yeah, kind of frustrating. Just had to fall in line. We really couldn't pass unless I was waiting for Donald to make a move, but I guess he was pretty content with 2nd, so there was no way I could get around him, so I just fell in line.
All right, Travis, keep talking. Any questions for JR?
Well, JR, I'm sure you had a great race there tonight. Were you hoping to try to go for a win tonight?
Oh yeah, yeah. Every time I race, I'm trying to win, but had to be content with this one. You know, it was a good race for the most part. Got a little wild in the last 30 laps or so, but yeah, all in all, it was a great race, man. Couldn't ask for any better.
Alrighty, copy that.
Just one more thing. Kind of racing with a heavy heart tonight. Right during practice, learned my grandfather passed away, so I was debating on, racing or not. And last time I saw him, we were talking about me racing on here, and he just kept saying, "Never quit, never quit." So that's what I did. I'll take third though.
Hey, J.R. Johnson. First of all, God bless you, and God bless your grandpa. I had a grandpa, and I can relate. And on a very serious note, you brought home a podium tonight for your grandfather, and God bless your grandfather. What was his name, sir?
William Bishop.
William Bishop.
Big hulk of a man, too.
All righty, tonight's. We can go on and dedicate tonight's race because you were here. I wish I'd known about this earlier, but a big shout out there to William Bishop and J.R. Johnson. And I know that Sir Bishop is very proud of J.R. Johnson. Hard fought battle in the 37 Blade, and a big shout out there to Grandpa Bishop. Good job.
No,
To add on
thank
to
you
that
guys.
real quick, JR, from myself and RTK Motorsports, condolences and congratulations.
Oh, thank you guys. It means a lot.
All righty, Ronald, I'm going to let you talk to Donald.
Donald Stewart, the boys were picking you to win. The old KMA TV chat was lighting up with your name. Thought you had her sewed up in the bag. Talk to us about the finish. We were talking about scenarios. I said that the 56 could win. I picked the 56 to win, not because I didn't think that you couldn't. I actually thought that you were in the best position to win the race, but the 56 could have won the race if he did everything just right. Now, were you attempting to go for the win, or were you just pushing him to the win?
First of all, I'd like to say sorry to JR for his loss and my condolences to his family. We just found out about his grandpa. Yeah, it was all about teamwork tonight. Ronald, honestly, I probably could have pulled out and made it more exciting, but it was all about teamwork and letting these guys, letting Kerry have a good win. He worked hard for it. He had a good truck tonight, and he stuck in there, and it's all about teamwork.
Copy that. There's nothing wrong with that. I love hearing that when I'm up here in the booth. I love hearing about teamwork and KMA, and I'm sure you made yourself, a new buddy, so to speak. Lee Staples and I have been in that situation. Brad Ream and I have been in that situation, and there's always a payback from good deeds done and helping other racers out. So I'm sure Kerry Allen Stewart appreciates it. I'm sure the roles will be reversed, and he'll probably think twice about pulling out and trying to go for the win, and possibly just push you to win. So love hearing what you had to say there. Talk to me real quick about the purple on the truck tonight and paint job.
Yeah, I put the purple on the truck for the PAD, PADD, People Against Distracted Driving, to show my support for the organization and the great cause that it is. And all the viewers out there, we will have a special event tomorrow night, same time, same place, to give PAD recognition about how dangerous it is to go out there and text and drive, and you never know, that last text could be your last one. So just ignore it, pull over, wait till you get to a stoplight. It's not that important to take your life or the life of someone else.
Well, I do appreciate that, and I love when I can speak to a driver and open up how I did, and then let them run with it. And you did exactly what I was hoping you would do. You did a fantastic job. Great job tonight, coming home in second position. Very proud of KMA. Very proud of you for doing what you did. You did have an opportunity to go for the win, and you chose to build a relationship with a with a fellow KMA teammate, and I applaud you for that, sir. Congratulations on a second place finish. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we talk to our winner?
Yeah, just give a shout out to y'all, man. Y'all did a great job. I love going back watching the broadcasts, and I'll give thanks to John Hendrick for all his paint jobs that he does for me. He takes care of me at Over the Top Paints and Designs. All of our sponsors, Blades Pizza, Pro Automotive, and GW Graphics for all their support that they give KMA. And I just love racing here with y'all, and I just feel like I'm at home, and I look forward every night coming out here on the track and racing with Joe.
Well, the feeling's mutual. I love racing with you guys, and I love broadcasting. So I want to thank you for coming out and supporting KMA TV, and KMA Racing tonight. Thank you so much, Donald. Thank you for your words, and again, congratulations on a second place finish.
Awesome. Thank you. And Scott, wait for my pickles.
I know, right? Pickle, pickle, pickle. Alrighty, Kerry Allen Stewart, have you got a copy?
I'm here.
Alrighty, Kerry Allen Stewart. Well, first of all, sir, I owe you an apology because I called you a duck. Quack, quack. I said with 4 to go, you are a sitting duck. And I had my votes there for Donald Stewart. I didn't think you could do it, brother. I am sorry. You did it. So you're not a duck. Tonight you are a winner. But did you feel like a duck?
I did. I was just sitting there thinking about just what to do. I mean, I've won some Carb Cup races here, and I love this track. And I saw how came into the room and it was overcast. So I love overcast condition races or night races, and so I had a really good feeling about it. But yeah, tonight was just a really great race. It was really important for me, first of all, to just be a nice, clean racer and just develop a good relationship with KMA, and things just worked out in my favor tonight.
So is this your first broadcasted win?
That is correct.
Alrighty, so introduce us off to Kerry Allen Stewart. Whom are you? Talk to us about our sponsors. I see you got GXR, nice looking paint job. Who painted your truck? And who is Kerry Allen Stewart?
Oh God, Carolyn Stewart is just a lifelong fan of NASCAR, and I went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte almost a year ago, and I did the simulator there with my wife Sheila, and we did the Talladega thing. She won the whole thing, but I was
your wife won.
That's correct.
I need to get her ass out here.
Well, she's. I'm surprised you don't see her on the side of the truck. I guess the paint job, from what I've been running and what you see, is different.
All right, yeah, we are seeing a red GXR with PhantomZoneDesigns.com on the rear.
Yeah, that is partly her business as well. She's an author, a graphic artist, and an all-around Wonder Woman.
Nice. Alrighty, so great win out here tonight. What is your opinion of what happened after lap 70? Because we had, we were caution free, balls at the wall, and then bang, 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 went to hell in a handbasket from 70 on. What did the mentality change, or what happened out there?
Yeah, when I saw it go 3 wide, I thought it was trouble. I mean, I've been in 3 wide situations before, and it was fine. I'm one to lay back. I'm more of a calculated racer. I'm not one to just go out and lead every lap. If I just lead the last lap, that's fine for me. And I thought, well, with 20 to go, I was hoping that a whole bunch of us would just get single file. Maybe a couple of us would break away, and then we'd sell it for the win. It surprised me that we got 3 wide so quickly with like 20 to go. I would have expected it more with like 5 to go.
Alrighty, sounds good. All right, Kerry Allen Stewart, congratulations on your first broadcasted win with KMA Racing.
All right, thank you, and thanks to KMA. I wanted to be a part of your racing a while back, but just schedule conflicts prevented me until now. So,
well, welcome aboard.
Yep, I appreciate the hospitality, and I just want to say my condolences as well to Junior Johnson and his family for their loss.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Travis, we appreciate your little short stint up here. So tell us about your surmise tonight of tonight's race.
Great racing out here. It was really good. It was cool to see some. I did see some green flag pit stops earlier. That's really cool to see. Great finish for sure. And congratulations to Kerry Allen Stewart and Donald Stewart and J.R. Johnson for the podium. And sorry for J.R. Johnson's loss from his grandpa.
All righty, thank you for your kind words. All right, Ronald Klein, walk us out of here with a race summary.
Great racing up to lap 70. That's when as you had said, basically the hell in the handbasket broke loose. Some really unfortunate incidents, but it's all part of racing and it's all part of learning. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Happens in real life as well. A little bit heavy on the cautions there in the last 30 laps, but what I really take away tonight is two things. Number one, importance of teammate building relationships. The tone of everyone, when we heard the news from about J.R. Johnson's father, how everybody turned, and not in a bad way, but turned to wanting to give condolences and offer up encouragement or whatever could be done. I'm sure there's still there. I'm still in the room down there. I'm sure they're talking to him. Those are the two biggest things that I take away. I honestly, Scott, from lap 99.9 back, I can forget about that. All I really cared about tonight was clean racing, the teammates. So impressed with Donald Stewart.
All right, Donald Stewart,
unbelievable.
great job.
And that's what I take away from this race. So I hope the fans got what they wanted out of the race. Special race tonight for me.
All right, ladies.
That was impressive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Travis Crowder, Ronald Klein. I am Scott Kolovic, and this is KMA TV. Hope you enjoyed the show. Join us tomorrow night when we race for PAD. People Against Distracted Driving. Big shout out there to GEW Graphics doing all those great commercials and all those great videos. All right, Ronald, Travis, we'll catch you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Scott.
Have a good night. Have a good night, fans.